Now, communism, socialism, statism, it promises all safety and security, but in return, you have to give up everything that makes life worth living, starting with freedom. For example, in New York City, their communist mayor, Zoran Marxist Kami Mamdani, actively plotting to eliminate private property. The first step is an all-out financial war on landlords, including expanded rent control, steep penalties for any infraction, and now he wants to increase the risk for landlords by preventing them from doing a simple, check of one tenant or prospective tenant's credit or income. If, by the way, he gets his way, landlords will only be allowed to check one or the other, not both. It also appears that Mamdani wants to make eviction even more impossible in New York City. It's already hard. And during a mayoral press conference, one masked individual referred to eviction as an act of violence. Take a look.
Our city is turning the corner on tenant power. When we organize, we win results. The Mamdani administration is emboldening us so that we no longer tolerate the violence of evictions as a matter of business as usual. My landlord owns dozens of buildings, but he is not a steward of the public trust. In fact, it is the opposite.
You got the mask and you got the smirk. Now, in New York City's notorious prison complex on Rikers Island, Mamdani was all smiles there again while hanging out and taking in a World Cup match with actual violent criminals that he would allow free on the street, no bail, of course. The same Mamdani who couldn't bring himself to attend a pro-Jewish, pro-Israeli parade in New York City. In the sick world of a communist, friends and enemies are not decided based on humanity or achievement, but instead on political beliefs. In other words, in Mamdani's utopia, the prisons, they'd be filled with conservatives, not criminals. But the hacks over at MSDNC, they don't apparently seem to mind. One-time Republican, we affectionately call him Liberal Joe Scarborough, is now officially a Talarico, six-gender Talarico, and, of course, Talarico, God is non-binary, and championing the rights of biological men to have access to abortion. Take a look.
By the way, Talafrico as a nickname, I'm all in. If somebody calls me Talafrico, I'm memeing that all the way to November.
And Joe,
yeah.
Well, I don't know if everyone knows this, but we've got I'm a Talafrico T-shirts available on our website, jamestalarico.com. Check it out and get your T-shirt today.
I'll get you one.
I agree with the part that Liberal Joe is a freako. Anyway, does he still claim to be a conservative? Now, other than our friend John Fetterman, it appears there is really only one other top Democrat that is willing to speak out against the rise of this new emerging radical left that has taken over the Democratic Party. Now, Colorado Governor Jared Polis posted the following, quote, I'm not scared of anyone. I just care deeply about our state. Don't want the socialists to destroy it. And in a Colorado for all, we don't think less of anyone because of their net worth. Whether you have no money or are a millionaire, we love you in Colorado and want you to thrive. Here with reaction, Fox News contributor Charlie Hurt from the Federalist elections correspondent. Brianna Lyman is with us. Brianna, we'll start with you. Reaction. Well, clearly nobody is willing to stand up to the radical left that is now taking over the party. It's kind of unprecedented. The silence is deafening, even in the case of Graham Plattner, El Sayed, and Talafrico.
Yeah, I mean, look, Democrats had an opportunity after the 2024 election when the entire country shifted right to reclaim their party from what at the time was thought to be the fringe radical left. But now that party has become the fringe radical left. That is the mainstream idea. And when President Trump gave his speech at Mount Rushmore just a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, he said communism can have no quarter in this country. And he is absolutely right. If we want to see America survive another 250 years, we have to reclaim that moral clarity that our founders have and say, not every idea deserves a seat at the table. People who push for socialism and communism, what they're basically saying is they think they can do better, than all men are created equal, that all men have certain unalienable rights. You can't do better. You can only do worse. And that's what happens with socialism and communism.
You know, and Marco was right, Charlie. You know, we are endowed by our Creator. Rights come from God, natural rights, not from government. And, of course, that government is put in place to protect those God-given rights.
Yeah. And, you know, that was a magnificent speech he gave. I think it's maybe the finest speech I've ever heard any Secretary of State give. And it was such an important speech. And obviously he was talking about communism around the world, but we all were sitting there listening and thinking to ourselves, my goodness, this is also what's happening to the Democrat Party as well. And I love that clip you played in particular about the misnomer that you hear from a lot of people that, oh, communism sounds good on paper. No, it doesn't sound good on paper. And he lists all the reasons why it does not sound good in theory. And of course, the most important one is the idea that communism crushes the individual. And the magic of America, what our founders understood, is human nature. And they devised a system that allowed human nature to be expressed in this country in the most profitable way to the country without encroaching on other people's rights. And that's the beauty of the founding. And communism absolutely destroys the individual. So if you're a young person today and you like your tattoo or you like your diversity, all of that goes away under communism. And I think that those young people who are falling for the siren song and going after people like Mamdani, I think that they have such a weak grasp of what communism really is. I don't think that they have any clue what they're actually supporting.
You know, Brianna, you know, Marco was right. Whatever name, form, manifestation it takes on, it's been tried over and over again. And you always get the same result. Yep. Unfulfilled promises, you get more poverty in the end, you get a loss of your freedom, and you literally hand over your life to the false promises of politicians that then have more power than ever before.
Yeah, but Sean, don't you know this is going to be the time that socialism and communism finally works, right? It's going to be Mamdani and AOC and Bernie Sanders who get it right after all of these decades. And Charlie, to your point, I do agree. I don't think a lot of people realize what exactly they're voting for because, Sean, when I hit the streets to do Man on the Street for You and I talk to these so-called socialists, they always say, I like socialism, but I don't like communism, not realizing that socialism is that precursor to communism. It is that, the bridge between capitalism and communism. So I think a lot of people are being misled by these false promises of free, 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 and not realizing that there is a long history that they should study before they vote for free, free, free.
Charlie, let's get the last word from you.
Yeah, and of course, these same people, they're the same people who go to the No Kings rally and they want to talk about how, down with tyranny. They don't like tyranny. Well, what is communism? What is socialism? It is absolute control in the hands of the few who run the government. It is the definition of tyranny. It is worse than a kingship. A king might actually possibly care about his subjects. A government under communism does not care about any of its subjects.
All right, Brianna, Charlie, good to see you both. Thank you both. All right, thanks for watching. Check out my new podcast, Hanging Out with me, Sean Hannity. The big interviews, the debates you won't get anywhere else. Like and subscribe for new episodes every Tuesday and Thursday.